If you're thinking about moving to Portland, Maine, you've probably heard one thing over and over. It's gotten expensive. And while that's definitely true, there are still opportunities if you know where to look. Today, I'm taking you inside a home listed under 420,000 in Portland's North Deering neighborhood, and I'm going to answer a bigger question. Is buying in Portland still worth it? Portland, Maine really is the economic and cultural hub of Maine. For a city with only about 70,000 residents, it has an incredible amount packed into it. Award winning restaurants, working waterfront, breweries, arts, healthcare, universities, and one of the best food scenes in New England. So we're going to take a look outside. This is the fenced in backyard. And honestly, the backyard really surprised me. It's fully fenced, shaded by mature trees, and offers enough room for entertaining, gardening, a fire pit, or simply enjoying your private, outdoor space. In a city setting, a yard like this is a very real asset. And the detached garage also provides additional storage or workshop potential, or, just using it simply as a place to keep your car or, your lawnmower, especially in the Maine winters. So this home is located in the North Deering neighborhood. And North Deering is where practicality really meets convenience. You are close to I-95 and you're very close to shopping, you're close to trails, you're close to schools. You can literally be downtown in 15 minutes, but you don't necessarily have to deal with downtown traffic every single day. And it's also a neighborhood where you'll find more traditional Cape Cod homes, ranches, and mid-century, modern properties that have solid bones and established lots. And for first-time home buyers, and great for downsizers too, or someone relocating to Portland that may not want a condo. North Deering is one of those neighborhoods that deserves way more than it gets for attention. 341 Auburn Street is a classic Cape built in 1949 that has some updates and it has a lot of character that makes, these older homes in Portland so appealing. It's listed for 419,900 with two bedrooms, one bathroom, and just under 950 square feet. And it sits on a nice corner lot with a detached one car garage. Now, before anyone says only 941 square feet, let me just challenge that thinking. Some of my favorite homes aren't that big and they simply are just designed well and it's easy to maintain. And this home is a really good example of that. Walking inside, the first thing I noticed was, how much natural light that comes into the living spaces. And sometimes smaller homes can feel dark or enclosed, and this one just doesn't. The hardwood floors have recently been refinished, and that immediately makes the home feel warm and welcoming. There's also built in shelving in the living room. A detail that you just don't really see often. Obviously, definitely not in newer construction. And it just adds a lot of character and function. Another one of the strengths of this property is its flexibility. You've got a bedroom on the first floor as well as the full bathroom, and it really is like easy to make this one floor living possible. Upstairs there's another room along with a bonus office space, which has some featured built-ins, which could be like a fantastic like work from home setup or a creative studio or reading nook or even just like a guest area. And that's like something I always encourage buyers to think about. Don't just look at the room as it is today. Think about it and think of what it could be for your lifestyle. What I appreciate about this home is that it feels honest. I know that's something weird to say, but it just feels like it's not pretending to be something it's not. Instead, it offers, some updated finishes. It's got that real classic character. It's got practical living spaces and is an excellent Portland location. There have been some recent improvements like fresh interior paint, a new oil tank, and refinish hardwood floors, which mean many of the first projects of a new homeowner typically faces have already been addressed. People relocating here often compare Portland to a much smaller version of Boston, except with the ocean 5 minutes away. And one of the things I love most about Portland is that every neighborhood has its own personality. The West End feels very historic. Munjoy Hill has incredible views. The Old Port has energy and nightlife. And then you have neighborhoods like North Deering, which feel completely different. Now I'm going to take you down into the basement. And this is really a basement that I wouldn't, um, you can't finish it, but it's great for storage. You get a forced hot air system. There is some space for workbenches, and this is where the laundry is as well. So, would I buy this home? If I was a first time home buyer, or maybe I was wanting something that wasn't a condo, or if I was relocating to Portland and wanting to get into one of Maine's strongest housing markets, I absolutely would. Because while you can update kitchens and bathrooms and paint colors, you can't really change the location. And Portland continues to be one of the strongest long term real estate markets in Maine, if not in the country right now. So, a big thank you to Alyssa Dumond of Keller Williams Realty for letting me tour her listing here at Auburn Street. And if you're exploring Portland or trying to decide which southern Maine town best fits your lifestyle and your budget, that's exactly what this channel is all about. I post new videos every week covering neighborhoods, homes, market trends, and what it's really like to live here. So if that sounds helpful, I'd love to have you subscribe. And if there's a Portland neighborhood you'd like me to feature next, let me know in the comments. Until next time, bye.